Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about the movies and TV shows I've been watching while we've been in self-isolation / lockdown. I realised I didn't make a favourites video for the month of March, and that is because obviously all of the cinemas had closed and I hadn't seen any new movies, and I hadn't really seen any TV shows or movies even on streaming services in the month of March, so I really didn't have enough to talk about. But during March and now April I have had more time to watch some new TV shows and movies, and I thought I would share with you guys what I've been watching. Now, I'm quite proud of the variety of films and TV shows I've been watching. I've seen a documentary TV show and a foreign film and some happy films. I've rewatched some stuff, so it's a very big variety in this list, and some of them are also on streaming services in the UK, also probably in America, so if you wish to watch them, you can. But to kick off the things I have been watching in lockdown, we're going to talk about a Blu-ray I recently purchased, and that is The Matrix. Now, I'm only talking about the first film. We didn't get a chance to watch the second and third film, but I've never seen them, so with all this free time I probably will see them. But yes, we revisited the first Matrix film. Now, I've only ever seen this film once before, and that was a very long time ago, so it was good to go back and get a refresher and just remember how insanely great this film is as a sci-fi, as an action. Like, it was way ahead of its time in terms of science fiction and special effects. Like, some of the special effects in The Matrix are insane, and the world building and the storytelling, I just love it. The one thing I kind of pointed out second time round that I didn't really see the first time round is that there is a lot of exposition in The Matrix, like a lot of people explaining a lot of things because it is quite complex to understand, which is maybe a flaw, but at the same time it was the 90s. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. As I say, we didn't get a chance to watch the second or third film. We might in the future, but I'm kind of skeptical. I've heard mixed things and I don't want the other films to ruin how much I love this one, but we'll see. Right, moving on to the stuff I've seen on Netflix, we will kick it off with the thing I've probably watched the most, and that is RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I officially got into RuPaul's Drag Race with the UK version, which was on a BBC iPlayer. It still might be on BBC iPlayer, and if you're a RuPaul Drag Race fan, you should watch the UK version. However, my friend started watching the USA version, loved it, I got into it. I only started on season 7, so now I've seen 7, 8, 9 and 10, currently on 11, and I know currently airing is season 12, so I'm getting caught up. I may go back and watch pre-season 7, but we will see. Anyway, love RuPaul's Drag Race. If you're not into drag, probably not gonna like it. If you are, definitely give it a shot. I feel like a lot of people already watch it and I'm very, very late to the bandwagon, but I had a huge obsession with sort of Britain's Next Top Model, America's Next Top Model, and this is basically the same but with drag queens, and it's a lot funnier and a lot more creative, so I love it. I don't have a lot to comment on RuPaul's Drag Race because, you know, it's a big thing already, but yeah, really enjoying watching that at the moment. It's bringing me a lot of fun and joy in these dark, dark times. A film that I've been wanting to watch for the longest time that I finally got around to watching is Thoroughbreds. Now, Thoroughbreds tells the story of two teenage girls, Amanda and Lily, played by Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor-Joy respectively, who were great friends as children, and as they've grown into teens and sort of going through high school, they have grown apart due to an incident which I will not tell you. But as they're coming to the end of their sort of education and high school experience, they start to form a friendship again and hatch a plan to kill Lily's stepdad. Now, that is in the description, so that's not a spoiler. I had quite high expectations for Thoroughbreds because I'd heard amazing things about the film. The poster looks incredible, the styling looks incredible, and I was slightly disappointed. Now, do not get me wrong, Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor-Joy in this film were on fire. They had such great chemistry, such electric characters and the dialogue was so good in the first half of this film. The beginning of this film had like a really slow burn with the tension and the dialogue. The dialogue was really clean cut. I felt the same about the middle of the film. I really enjoyed that part. Towards the end of the film, however, I was quite disappointed. It did feel like a very satisfactory ending in terms of what happens in the plot, but I feel like we didn't get enough of the characters' friendship and enough of the characters as individuals. Now, Samantha Cook's character, Amanda, had a really interesting character and I would have loved to dive deeper into her character, although I feel like they were going for more of the mysterious route with both the characters. I'm not sure, maybe on a rewatch I would see Thoroughbreds differently. I definitely love the costumes and the styling, and obviously the two lead actresses were fantastic. But overall, I found the film to be kind of underwhelming, which was disappointing, but I'm glad I watched it still. Yes, I know, I was one of those people that stupidly watched Contagion while coronavirus is happening. Contagion is actually probably still in the top 10 trending films of today in the UK on Netflix, and I hadn't seen the film in years. I hadn't seen the film since it came out in cinemas, and I remember actually really liking it despite the subject matter. And obviously with all this coronavirus going on, everybody is watching it because the situation in Contagion is so like coronavirus, and it's borderline scary. Now, I know a lot of other people who watched Contagion during coronavirus were unsettled and scared, and it kind of made them more anxious. It didn't make me more anxious, weirdly, because I'm a very anxious person. I think I've sort of drawn that line between film and real life, because in the film things move so quickly and span months, and because we're sort of living through it now and we don't know what's going to happen, and in the film you do know what's going to happen, it's very different. But oh my goodness, some of the shots in this film really trigger me, like people touching surfaces. In the beginning of the film, she eats peanuts from this bar that, you know, anyone's hands could have been in, and it's very triggering. Wash your hands, people. But yeah, I think Contagion's a great film. I think they executed it really well. I think the score is haunting, which is probably not the best thing to watch during a global pandemic, unless you're like me and it doesn't affect you. But yes, that's a thing that happened. I watched Contagion. Now let's talk about some Netflix originals. I got on board with the whole Tiger King situation, the documentary television series on Netflix. It was batshit crazy. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I'll just give you the basis of Tiger King. It follows this guy called Joe Exotic who owns a zoo, and it has something silly like 200 and something big cats, tigers, leopards, you name it, he's probably got it. And it also follows various people around the United States who also own zoos with big cats, or for example Carol Baskin, who is another person in the documentary who owns a cat sanctuary, and Joe and Carol have a rivalry because Carol doesn't think what Joe is doing, breeding the cats, is right. So it just follows Joe Exotic and his zoo and his legal battles, and Carol Baskin and all of these other people who own big cats, and batshit fucking crazy. It's a really interesting watch if you are intrigued on how the treatment of big cats in America works and what the legalities of it are. And just if it sounds interesting to you, give it a watch. It's definitely worth it. There are twists and turns in every episode. You don't see things coming. At first you kind of think these people are borderline normal and you don't see the issue, and then it hits you like a ton of bricks. These people aren't normal. I want to see more documentaries like this on subjects I wouldn't necessarily know about, because I feel like the show has educated me on the treatment of big cats in America and how there is more in America than there is in the wild, and that's just plain wrong. I could go on about Tiger King for a full week, but just know you should probably watch it. It was a very well done, very interesting, very eye-opening documentary. The last of the stuff I watched on Netflix is also an original, and that is The Platform, which is a Spanish horror, psychological thriller, science fiction film. And trust me when I say this, if you're going to watch The Platform, please watch it in Spanish with English subtitles. We were watching the trailer and it was in English dubbed, and it was so terrible. Anyway, onto the plot of The Platform, and I heard a lot of people talking about this one and it actually intrigued me. So the platform takes place in this very long vertical building. I'm imagining somewhere in Spain, as it's in Spanish. And there's a number of levels, and I'm not going to tell you how many levels there are because it's a big thing in the film, and if you watch it I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a number of levels where each level goes down and it's sort of like a poverty line. So imagine Snowpiercer but in a high-rise building. Anyway, on platform 0, the people at the top lay out a giant platter and feast of food. You've got chocolate cake, you've got anything you can imagine on this big platter, and the platter goes down in the levels. So if you're on level 1, you get a lot of food. You can eat as much food as you want. But say you're on level 75, you're probably not going to get as much. And the people that live in this tower get rotated each month. So one month you might be on level 7, the next month you might be on level 150. So there's different struggles going on in this vertical tower. We follow the main character who has voluntarily gone into this tower. He wanted to quit smoking, he wanted to read Don Quixote, which was his item that he took into the building with him, because you get to take an item with you. And he is fully not prepared for what is behind the doors of this giant tower. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to say too much and ruin it, but I've been thinking about the platform for the longest time after watching it. I think we watched this on Friday and I'm still thinking about it on Monday afternoon. It is stuck in my head. I am scarred. It was brutal. It was gruesome. It had a crazy relevant message and it just went hardcore. Like, if you liked Snowpiercer, watch the platform, because you thought Snowpiercer was brutal? You haven't seen the platform though, have you? It's very brutal. I thought the ending could have been a bit better because the film portrays a message and it's not necessarily portrayed in the way that I thought it would be. But overall, if you're into gruesome psychological thriller horrors, the platform is probably for you. Just probably don't watch it before you go to bed. That's all I'm going to recommend. Okay, on to some Disney Plus. This finally came to the UK on March 23rd. It was a long time coming. So obviously the main thing I wanted to watch on Disney Plus was The Mandalorian. I've only seen up to chapter 5 so far because we are way behind in the UK. But so far I am loving it. I'm rather angry that the episodes are only about half an hour long because every time one ends I just want to watch more. I really like Mando's character. I think he has really great values. He is a fucking badass, and I'm not really sure what to call Baby Yoda because I know it's not Baby Yoda, but I'm just going to refer to him as Baby Yoda. He's adorable. I love him. I know the show is called The Mandalorian, but I would like to see a bit more of Yoda's powers. I'm not sure if we're going to get that in future episodes, but at the moment I want a little bit more. But yeah, I can't comment too much on The Mandalorian at the moment because we've only seen 5 episodes, but I'm really loving it so far. I love going back into the Star Wars universe and exploring it more. It makes me happy. I may or may not have watched all 3 Pirates of the Caribbean films in one. I know there is actually 5 films, but the original 3 with Will Turner, Jack Sparrow, Elizabeth Swann, those are the only ones that are important to me. Pretty much binged all 3 films in one day and it was a great decision. I really enjoyed those films. I love the action. I think they're hilarious. The kind of pirate lore is great, and let me just give a big shout out to Elizabeth Swann for being the badass she is. She's a pirate king, for crying out loud. She's a boss. But yeah, after the 3rd one, kind of went downhill. Not going to mention the other 2, but those 3 are great. Highly recommend if you're in for a good time. One of the first movies I watched when we got Disney Plus is Tangled. Tangled is maybe my favourite Disney princess of the whole of Disney. She's great. I love her. Tangled's fantastic. Her and Flynn Rider and Maximus, the whole story, the songs, it's all fantastic. I would love to know down below in the comments your opinion. What is better, Tangled or Frozen? Because in my opinion, Tangled trumps Frozen so much. Don't get me wrong, love Frozen. Frozen's great. But Tangled just never gets old. And you haven't heard the song play over and over again. I'm looking at you, Let It Go. I'm looking at you. I think out of all of the Disney animations, Tangled's the one I want to see a live action remake of next. I would love that, and I would love for Florence Pugh to play Rapunzel. Hint hint, wink wink, Disney, if you're listening, hi. Another Star Wars one that we watched was Solo: A Star Wars Story. I haven't seen this one since seeing it in the cinema and actually really enjoy it. This one is a lot of fun. It explores more of Star Wars, yada yada yada. You've probably seen it, but rewatching it, it is so much fun, and I kind of want them to do a sequel to it. Like, kind of. And two more quick that I want to mention. On Disney Plus, we watched both of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and I wasn't too sure if I wanted to rewatch the second one because the second one was in the very low rankings of Marvel films for me. But on the rewatch, I really, really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yes, it's a bit messy having the two villains going on, but Jesus, like, I don't remember it being that emotional. Like, I teared up quite a few times. And obviously the first Guardians of the Galaxy film is a masterpiece. Just wanted to give those two films a shout out because I have completely changed my mind about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I'm really excited to see the third one. Like, really excited. I think Thor's going to be in it, so yes. And there you have it. Those are some of the things I've been watching while in lockdown. I may do another one of these videos in a few weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how long we are still in lockdown for. But in that time, I can guarantee I will have watched many more things. Let me know what you guys have been watching in lockdown, and if you've watched anything that I watched, like Tiger King or The Platform, I would love to know your opinions on both of those. But please be mindful of spoilers. Like, please warn for spoilers if you're going to talk about either of those things down in the comments. Of course, if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. All my social media links are down below in the description if you want to come follow me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Stay safe. Bye.